Most older adults don't misuse garlic because they're uninformed. They misuse it because garlic feels too familiar to question. It's been in kitchens forever. It smells comforting. It's part of family meals and recipes you don't even think about anymore. It's labelled natural, so people assume it's gentle, forgiving, always helpful. And that assumption is exactly where garlic quietly stops working for so many adults. Not in a dramatic way, not overnight, but slowly, invisibly, until people either give up on it or assume their body is the problem. The truth is simple, even if it's rarely said out loud. Garlic is biologically active, and once the body changes, the rules change with it. What worked casually at 30 doesn't always work casually at 60, not because garlic failed, but because the body now responds differently. So we're starting with the mistakes that almost never get mentioned, the ones that feel harmless, the ones people don't even realize they're making, but the ones that quietly undermine everything. Mistake number 10, assuming garlic works the same after 60 as it did at 30. This mistake is subtle, but it's foundational. Most adults keep using garlic the same way they always have. Same meals, same habits, same expectations. But the body doesn't stay fixed across decades. Digestion slows, absorption shifts, recovery takes longer, and the margin for error narrows. Garlic still works, but it no longer works on autopilot. What once produced noticeable effects now depends on consistency, delivery, and tolerance. Older bodies respond less to occasional spikes and more to patterns. A single garlic-heavy meal doesn't do much anymore. Steady, predictable intake does. This is why people say things like, "Garlic used to help me, but it doesn't anymore." It's not that garlic stopped working, it's that the body stopped responding to irregular use. At this stage of life, garlic isn't just a background ingredient you toss in without thinking. It behaves more like an active compound that needs to be used deliberately. And when it isn't, people move straight into the next mistake without realizing it. Mistake number 9, ignoring. How your body responds to garlic. Now garlic doesn't suddenly become harmful with age, but the body becomes more communicative. Signals appear where there were none before. Bloating, pressure, a heavy feeling later in the day, mild cramps that don't seem connected to anything specific. Because the reaction isn't immediate, most people never associate it with garlic. They assume it's just aging, or stress, or one of those days. Garlic contains fermentable compounds that are harder to process for many adults later in life. For some people, raw garlic becomes irritating. For others, larger amounts cause delayed digestive discomfort. The mistake isn't eating garlic. The mistake is ignoring feedback. Some adults tolerate cooked garlic better than raw. Others do better with smaller amounts spread across meals. Many find that garlic-infused oils deliver flavor without triggering digestive issues. Garlic doesn't demand obedience, it demands listening. When people don't listen, they either push through discomfort or abandon garlic entirely, both unnecessary outcomes. Mistake number 8, trusting jarred, pre-minced garlic. This mistake feels innocent, which is why it's everywhere. Jarred garlic smells right, it tastes right, it saves time when you're tired or busy, but biologically, it's mostly hollow. The compounds responsible for garlic's cardiovascular and immune effects are fragile. They only form when garlic is freshly crushed, and they degrade quickly with processing, storage, and preservatives. By the time garlic has been minced, bottled, shipped, and sitting on a shelf, those compounds are largely gone. What remains is flavor, not function. This is why people eat garlic every day and see no change in blood pressure, cholesterol, or inflammation markers. They aren't consuming medicinal garlic, they're consuming garlic-flavored filler. Fresh garlic isn't about tradition or purity, it's about chemistry. If convenience matters, a garlic press or pre-peeled whole cloves preserve far more benefit with almost no extra effort. Sometimes 10 seconds matters more than people realize. Mistake number 7. Using garlic randomly and expecting results. Garlic does not work like a pain reliever. You don't feel it immediately. In studies, garlic shows benefits when it's used consistently, in stable amounts over time, not sporadically, not aggressively, and not only when you remember. Many adults use garlic chaotically. Heavy one week, gone the next, raw occasionally, overcooked often, supplements sometimes, food sometimes. The body can't respond to that. Inconsistency turns garlic into background noise. The signal never stabilizes long enough for the body to adapt or benefit. This is where people conclude garlic doesn't work for them, when in reality, the body never received a clear pattern. Garlic rewards routine. It resists randomness, especially in older bodies that prioritize predictability. And this is where the conversation shifts, because the next 4 mistakes don't just reduce effectiveness, they intersect with medications, stomach health, procedures, and real medical considerations. Mistake number 6. Combining garlic with blood-thinning medications. Without realizing it, garlic naturally reduces platelet aggregation, essentially helping blood flow more easily. For many people, that's beneficial, but many older adults are also taking medications that affect clotting. This includes drugs like warfarin, clopidogrel, aspirin, or other anticoagulants. Taking large amounts of raw garlic or concentrated garlic supplements alongside these medications can subtly increase bleeding risk. There have been reports of prolonged bleeding or unexpected bruising when intake changes suddenly. This doesn't mean garlic must be avoided, and this isn't medical advice replacing your doctor. It means consistency and communication matter. Small, steady amounts used in cooking are generally considered safe for most people. Sudden spikes or supplement doses are where issues tend to arise. If you're on blood-thinning medication, it's wise to keep garlic intake predictable and mention it during routine medical visits. This is less about fear and more about coordination. Mistake number 5. Eating raw garlic on an empty stomach. The idea of swallowing a raw garlic clove first thing in the morning gets passed around a lot. It sounds disciplined, clean, almost like you're doing it right. But for many older adults, this habit quietly backfires. Raw garlic stimulates gastric acid. That's not automatically bad. Digestion needs acid. The issue is context. In younger adults, the stomach lining is thicker and more resilient. With age, that lining naturally thins, and the protective mucus layer becomes less robust. Now add raw garlic. No food, no buffer, no protection. What happens isn't dramatic, it's subtle. A little burning, mild nausea, a cramped feeling an hour later. Enough discomfort that people stop using garlic altogether, or assume their stomach just can't handle it anymore. In reality, the stomach wasn't fragile, it was just unprotected. Pairing garlic with food changes everything. Even a small breakfast helps. Toast, eggs, oatmeal. A few bites are enough to buffer the stomach while still allowing garlic's compounds to be absorbed. You're not weakening garlic by doing this. You're making your body more receptive. This isn't about toughness or discipline. It's about timing. For older adults especially, timing matters more than intensity. Mistake number 4, treating garlic like food instead of a biologically active compound. Garlic feels like food, so people use it like food. A little here, A lot there? Some days none at all, other days several cloves at once. But biologically, garlic doesn't behave like parsley or pepper. It behaves more like a mild supplement. That means dose matters, timing matters, consistency matters. 1 clove per day has research-backed benefits. 5 cloves at once doesn't give 5 times the benefit. It usually just stresses digestion. Mixing raw garlic one day, burnt garlic the next, and microwaved garlic after that creates inconsistency the body can't adapt to. This is where people get confused. They're eating garlic, but the body never receives a stable signal. Think about how supplements work. You don't skip them randomly. You don't triple the dose to make up for missed days. You take them steadily, predictably, and with intention. Garlic deserves that same respect. When treated deliberately, it supports the body quietly. When treated casually, it becomes unreliable. Mistake number 3, microwaving. Garlic microwaves are everywhere. They're fast. They're practical. And they're often the default. But garlic and microwaves are a bad match. The enzymes responsible for forming allicin, garlic's most studied beneficial compound, are extremely sensitive to rapid, uneven heat. Microwaving destroys them quickly, sometimes in under a minute. You'll still smell garlic. You'll still taste garlic. So it feels like nothing was lost. But what was lost is the reason many older adults eat garlic in the first place. This mistake often happens without awareness. Garlic gets tossed into leftovers, added to sauces, mixed into dishes already hot. Convenience quietly replaces effectiveness. Gentler methods preserve far more benefit. Crushing garlic and letting it rest. Adding it near the end of cooking, roasting it slowly. None of these require special skills, just a bit of intention. Microwaves save time, but with garlic, they often erase the payoff. Mistake number 2, throwing garlic straight into hot pans. Almost everyone does this. It's muscle memory. Oil heats. Garlic goes in. Sizzle. Instant aroma. And from a flavor standpoint, it works beautifully. From a biological standpoint, it's destructive. Allicin breaks down at relatively low temperatures. By the time oil is hot enough to saute, much of garlic's beneficial chemistry is already being destroyed. The dish tastes great, so people assume garlic did its job. It didn't. The fix feels backward at first. Let the pan heat. Let other ingredients soften. Add garlic near the end. Let it warm gently instead of frying aggressively. Even a short pause between chopping and cooking helps. Those small changes protect the compounds the body actually uses. This isn't about cooking perfectly, it's about cooking deliberately. One small adjustment can turn garlic from decoration into something functional again. Mistake number 1, not letting crushed garlic rest before cooking. This is the most important mistake of all, and almost no one knows it. When you crush, chop, or slice garlic, the beneficial chemistry hasn't finished yet. 2 separate components need time to interact. Air exposure is part of the process. If garlic goes straight into heat, that reaction is cut short. Allicin barely forms. The potential disappears before it even begins. Letting garlic rest for about 10 minutes after crushing allows that reaction to complete. That's it. No supplements, no special tools, just patience. Use that time to prep vegetables, measure spices, clean up. The garlic is doing its work quietly. After resting, garlic becomes more heat-resistant and far more effective. Suddenly, the same clove delivers real benefits instead of just aroma. This single habit explains why garlic works wonders for some people and does almost nothing for others. It's not the garlic, it's the timing. The truth about garlic is surprisingly simple. It works when you use it with attention. It fails when you treat it like a shortcut. The The benefits are real: improved heart health, cholesterol support, blood pressure support, immune function. But research consistently shows they depend on preparation, timing, dosage, and consistency. This isn't a guarantee, and it isn't a substitute for medical care, but it is a pattern seen again and again. For older adults, this matters even more. Your body changes, your digestion changes, your medications interact differently. So instead of remembering everything, remember this practical framework as you move forward. Crush garlic and let it rest. Add it late in cooking. Use fresh instead of jarred. Keep portions moderate and steady. Pair garlic with food. Pay attention to how your body responds. Keep intake predictable, especially if you're on medication. Do these things, and garlic stops being just a flavor. It becomes what it has been throughout human history, a quiet, supportive tool when used correctly. Garlic doesn't work because it's natural. It works because you respect it. And when you do, your body responds. Patiently, gradually, and often far more reliably than people expect.